Good evening. This is Master Cleveland once again with Classic Taekwondo. Thought I would go over something that I thought was it, it it piqued my interest. It was a video I watched a couple of days ago talking about techniques that people tend not to use or are forbidden to use in competition. Um, I'm not really a person that thrives off of competition. I've been to a few, but I look at it this way: a lot of schools out there, not all of them, but a lot of schools out there tend to focus more on what works in competition or what's acceptable in competition. And many times you'll see things that are forbidden from use. On one hand, I understand, but on another, it's if you're not going to teach those things outside of competition for a person's personal self defense, I think that's rather short sighted. I mean, for one, the only hand techniques I've ever seen in pure Taekwondo tournaments, and what I'm talking about is the former WTF, WT style, Olympic style. The only thing they ever really scored was a straight punch to the body. Um, that's fine for them. I mean, what the Koreans wanted when they went to this Olympic push, and I mean, really, when the WTF formed back in 1973, they wanted to get away from what was taught by General Che and the ITF in 1966. I mean, it's one thing to do something different. It's another thing to leave out things I feel are core. You should always, since it is a martial art, there should always be something there that can help a person to protect themselves should they need to. I'm not saying that those competition style schools didn't teach things for self defense. It's just that the problem occurs when the only time you ever practice them is in the class. You go to competition, you can't even use them. And the thing is, for some people, that might be an instinct to use, but you're forbidden by the rules. And while I understand the need for rules in tournaments, I'll get straight to the point. When you throw a punch in those competitions, they won't score it unless it has what they call trembling shock. If you're teaching a person proper body alignment, which any Taekwondo instructor should be teaching, be aligned on balance, weight distributed properly towards the target. When you throw in something, your body should basically sink down for the punch or kick or whatever. If it isn't, you're not going to have anything in the way of power. And of course, you add speed to the equation, making 4. If one of those things is missing, what you basically have is a useless technique, or a technique that missed its target. Trembling shock happens when a person correctly throws a technique, when everything is sitting in, when they train their body right to where when they throw a punch, kick, or anything else, those 4 elements, body alignment, weight distribution, balance, and speed, when they're all there, when you throw a punch or kick to somebody and it lands, it's going to have trembling shock. It's because you're hitting with your whole body and not just your arm. I see a lot of guys the few that do throw punches in the Olympics, it's an arm punch at best. And the thing about an arm punch is you're going to get maybe at the best time 50% power. So that means if something goes wrong, you got nothing. You got to push. I'm not saying that they should put a lot of these techniques back in. Some of them are out for a reason, and I understand that. But if you're in a school that's basically just teaching front kick, side kick, round kick, or cut kick, push kick, if you're just teaching the stuff that scores points, a big part of your arsenal is missing. As it is, people think Taekwondo doesn't have hands, which over 30 years of training, I could tell you that's false. There's a lot of hand techniques. The problem is you get instructors who are thinking competition and they're thinking, well, I can't use this. This would be illegal. That's fine, but if you're in a situation outside and somebody comes at you and you're not able to use one of those high, flashy kicks, you better have a backup plan. A punch, if taught properly, like I said, you're there sparring, your hands shouldn't be down by your waist. That's another bad habit I see with some people is your hands are, if there's never a threat of these being used, you're going to have a tendency, as I see a lot of them, their hands are down here at their waist and they're just kind of dancing around. And that may look cool for competition, but the thing is, if that's what you do all the time, there's a good chance that you're going to be led into a false sense of security where you have your hands down thinking your feet are going to do it. You hit a slick spot in the ground and fall, or you miss completely and that person's right on top of you and they're punching you. It's just not, you need to have a backup plan. I mean, punches should be taught equally. Your open hand strikes, your palm heel, your knife hand, your knife hand from the inward side, the ridge hand, the arc hand, which is basically the tiger mouth strike, as some of them call it. You're hitting the throat. These are techniques you're not going to use in Olympic competition if you're going that route, but these are things you should have in your toolbox anyway, should you need to, because some of those kicks require space you may not have. In future videos, you're going to see what I mean by trembling shock. I mean, there's a lot of good instructors out there that basically will show you a solid punch or elbow strike, knee strike. These are all techniques a Taekwondo practitioner should have in their arsenal. A small number of joint locks and throws are also used in Taekwondo. Don't be fooled into thinking that we can't throw people. We can't immobilize wrists. Sometimes even the wrists are grabbed or the arm is grabbed when somebody overextends and we pull them into a kick. Again, that'd be something that'd be illegal in a tournament, but the art, it's a martial art first and it should be complete. If you're going to a school that's all they're teaching is competition stuff and you want to learn self-defense, then you're setting yourself up already for something that's not going to be to your needs. That's why so many other schools, your Muay Thai schools, your Jiu-Jitsu schools, and when I say Jiu-Jitsu, I don't mean just Brazilian, because people, again, when you look at Taekwondo and the state of it, and you look at Karate, you look at arts, its sister art, Tang Sudo, which is still addressed as a martial art, as where Taekwondo, a lot of people will call it a martial art, but a lot of people will say it's a sport, and they say, well, it has no hands. There's hands in Taekwondo. It's up to your instructor to teach you that stuff, as opposed to just saying, well, we're just going to work on kicks all day, which is fine, but last I checked, you have 4 limbs. Most people have 4 limbs. So there's that. But I always tried to put a companion video to my talking ones. But these are some things that I feel that every Taekwondo practitioner out there should understand, that if all you're doing is competing, and there's nothing wrong with that, if you're not learning something there that can protect you, because say that that's all there is in the area. Say there isn't a Jiu-Jitsu or Krav Maga or whatever else is out there. Say this is it. That instructor, I hope, is teaching you something about self-defense. Taekwondo is an art first. There's a lot of self-defense techniques out in that art that people just, for one reason or another, don't see. I am not one of those instructors that's going to just focus on sport. There's it's a really strange and messed up world these days, and you need to know how to protect yourself. And I feel that if you're leaving that out, you're setting students up to be overconfident, for one. I mean, with the number of 8 and 9 year old black belts out there who haven't really understood that the art is being a black belt's a responsibility. It's not just a rank. But that's for another video. If you like what you're seeing here, if you have questions about what I've said or any of my videos, by all means, feel free to make a comment. I know some people do. Some people don't like what they see, and they're not quiet about that, and I'm fine with that because you're not going to please everybody. But if you like what you see, send a like, and if you really like what you see, then by all means subscribe. There is more to come.